Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. I'm really excited to be bringing you this video because I have been thinking about what I've been wanting to do for Pan That Palette for a while, and I know I'm introducing this super early for the year 2019 next year, but I really wanted to get a head start because I'm going to be panning a decent amount of shadows and not all of them are neutral. I haven't done a Pan That Palette in a while. I did one this year with colors in my Z palette, and I am incorporating my Z palette into this Pan That Palette, hint hint, but I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed with my collection, and I feel more grounded when I'm doing a Pan That Palette, and I get more excited to use my shadows that I'm not panning. So I'm going to be starting my Pan That Palette a little bit early. I am going to be working on 3 different palettes, which is a little bit crazy, but I'll explain it when I get into each one of them. I'm going to save my main palette for the end, but one of the palettes I'll be working on is my Tarte Hamptons Weekender Contour Palette, and this is currently in my finished 13 by Halloween, which will be ending on October 30th. So I'm kind of double dipping into my projects right now, but I know this isn't going to be gone by the end of that project. So here's what mine currently looks like. So as you can see, the highlighter is gone, and that is a spoiler alert for that project, but I said that highlighter would be gone pretty quickly anyway, and then I haven't hit pan on the blush yet, and then I hit pan on the bronzer, and then literally the day I filmed that finished 13 by Halloween update, I dropped this and it shattered, so I had to repress both the blush and the bronzer. And I'd hit pan on the bronzer before, but then I had to repress it and I hit pan on it again. This is the only bronzer in my collection right now, and I only have 3 blushes total, and I like to be panning a blush at a time, and I'm currently working on this one anyway in that project. I really enjoy this product. The formula's changed slightly since I had to repress it. I think I put too much alcohol in it, so that sucks. Swatches of the blush and the bronzer. The bronzer is Farmer's Market, and then the blush is Summer House. I feel like the bronzer is a little bit less pigmented since I had to repress it, which is fine because it was a little bit too pigmented for me before, and I feel like it works super well for me now. So I really want to try to finish up this in the next year or so. And I did mention I want to be working on my Z palette, and I currently have 5 Colourpop shadows in here. So this is what my Z palette currently looks like. I have pan on Glass Bowl and Belair right here. And then these are 3 shades from the Colourpop Yes Please palette, and these are the only ones I kept out of the whole palette. And I did pan 3 of the shades, and I thought these are the more unique ones to my collection, minus that brown shade. I just like it a lot. But I have some warm tones right here, and then a deeper matte brown shade for the palette that I'm going to be panning because there's not a ton of mattes in it. I really enjoy the colors in this palette. I really haven't used this yellow too much or this red shade right here, but I thought it would be really fun to include, and they're tiny eyeshadows, so I really hope I can finish them. And then Glass Bowl is a shadow that is extremely chunky. It really wasn't that hard to hit pan on this because the formula is so chunky and flaky, and you can hit pan fairly easily. This is actually the second one that I've panned of this. I've been working on Belair for a while, and this is a beautiful shade. And here are swatches from my Z palette. So this is the red, warm orangey brown. The yellow is really not that pigmented, but it's really pretty blended into the crease. This is Belair, and then this metallic shade is Glass Bowl right here. I'm really hoping I can get through these shadows. I feel like Glass Bowl will be gone probably within the next, I don't know, maybe month to 3 months, depending on how often I feel like using it. This one will probably take a while, and then I'm not sure how long these will take because I just haven't used them a whole lot. I've used this orangey brown the most, as opposed to the red and the yellow shades, but I'm excited to work on this and get some more eyeshadows out of my collection. I've been toying with the idea of what palette that I wanted to use for my main Pan That Palette next year, and I bet you a lot of you guys could have guessed this, but I want to pan my Tarte Make Believe in Yourself eyeshadow palette. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection. I love the packaging on it, it's so pretty. But here is what my palette currently looks like. So as you can see, I do have pan on 3 shades right here, on this purple, this periwinkle, and then this bronzy shade right here. I've used a ton of this bronzy shade, and I used it yesterday. It was gorgeous all over the lid. I'm wearing Mystic on my lid today, as well as the shade Fairy, so that purple and then periwinkle shade. I'm not loving my eye look today, mostly because of the mattes that I used, but I love the shimmers in this palette. There is one matte shade right here, and this is in the shade Myth, which is a mauve tone, and this takes a lot of building up, but it is a really pretty shade once you actually use it. And then it does come with a highlighter right here, which doesn't really have a name. I just call it the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself highlighter. I wanted to start this project early because there are some colorful eyeshadows in this project. So this blue shade, this other blue shade, the periwinkle, this purple, and then the green right here, and the rest are neutral colors. I've also mainly only panned neutral eyeshadows. I remember I panned the MAC eyeshadow in Shimmer Moss like years ago, and that was a teal blue shade, very similar to this one right here in Dream, which is a beautiful metallic teal color. It's definitely gonna be a challenge for me to pan the colorful eyeshadows too, but I feel like this will give me a really nice variety, and I feel like I really won't get sick of this palette too much because I'll have so much in here, and I can pair these shadows with those mattes or maybe other mattes in my collection. When I do pan that palette, I find that the best way for me to not get sick of these eyeshadows is to use them during the work week, and then on the weekends I can play with other things. And I feel like since I wear colorful eyeshadows mostly on the weekends, I don't wear them to work that often. I feel like I can even use these shades on the weekend and I still wouldn't get too bored, so I'm really excited to be incorporating this into my Pan That palette. So as with the colors in the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette all swatched out, the colors that I'm not excited to pan are Crystal right here because I just don't love this shade on me, except I've only used it maybe once or twice and I haven't used it in a while. So maybe my tastes have changed on it. And then I also really don't love the highlighter in here. I just think it gives me a blue tinge sometimes. But everything else in here is really gorgeous. I have one cool toned matte in here, so I thought pairing these more warmer tones in here would pair really nicely together. Just cover that part up. And then the Glass Bull shade, I just know I can get through it fairly quickly, so I thought I would just keep it in the palette as well for my Pan That palette. I think these two palettes would pair really nicely together. And then if I want more of a neutral tone, I can throw my bronzer in the crease, which I've done several times before. And then if I want more of a pinky look or maybe just a warm pink, I can use the blush in the crease. So I thought this would pair really nicely with everything because they are so neutral that I think it would pair with the neutrals and the colorful shadows really well. I'm actually really excited for this Pan That palette. I've been feeling a little bit less motivated with panning lately, and I feel that's because I haven't done a Pan That palette in a while and I like panning a palette at a time. So hopefully this will give me my panning mojo back and more interest in it. So anyway, let's get into goals for the next month. I would like to try to expand the pan on the bronzer a little bit more and just make a bigger dip in the blush because I really don't feel like I'll be able to hit pan on this anytime soon. For my Z palette, I want to make a much bigger dip in this orangey shade right here from the Colourpop Yes Please palette, and then I might use these ones here and there since they are pretty nice for fall, and I really want to get some more use out of Glass Bull and Belair. And I think for the next month, I really want to try to finish this bronzy shade in Magic. It's really low right now, like it's really flat into the pan, and I've already hit some pretty significant side pan on it, as you can see there, hopefully. But I really want to try to focus on Crystal as well and get a nice dip in here because I haven't used this shadow a whole lot. And then I think I want to try to incorporate a color too, so I want to use Fairy because since the Crystal shade has more of a purple tone to it, I think the purple would be really pretty on the lower lash line with it. So I want to focus on 3 shades of the eyeshadows in the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette. So I want to finish Magic and then just make dips in the other 2, but also make dips in the other ones as well. So that's it for my Pan That palette for 2019. Yes, I'm starting a little bit early, but I think I'm going to have some trouble with panning the colorful shades. They're gorgeous, but they're not something that I can wear every single day. I'm really excited. I think these products will pair really nicely together. So I have the Make Believe in Yourself palette from Tarte, just a Z palette with 5 Colourpop shadows in it, and then another Tarte product. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you started your Pan That palette already for next year because I would love to know. Pan That palette videos are my favorite panning videos to watch, and then I also love declutter videos, which I will be filming right after this. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you later. Bye.